I've seen people have been struggling with the World Touring Car 600 race at Tokyo Expressway. This is the one that you can earn quite a lot of money on, and like the obvious grindy way to do it is to use the Tomahawk. But for those of you who don't have a Tomahawk and looking how you can do it with a normal car, thought I'd put together this little video. I've done a video before on it, but I didn't really explain anything. I just showed the full race. So I thought this time I'd actually take you through some sort of hints and tips, because I've seen quite a lot of people are struggling with this one. So we'll go into it. So I use R34 GTR Skyline. Have a quick look through the settings. So I've got a setting sheet for WTC600, as you can see, PPs 598. Sports hard tires. So I've seen a few people thinking you need to run intermediates to do this. You don't. Just put sports hard on. They're durable enough they can run the full race, and they're a treaded tire, so they give you enough grip in the rain to do this. If we go in here, just take you through. So basically I've got fully customizable suspension, but I'm pretty sure those are stock settings. I have not played around with it. I haven't put a limited slip diff in it. It's got a little bit of rear aero. Again, ECU is standard. Got the fully customizable racing transmission in it, but again that is set to default. And it's got racing exhaust, racing manifold, racing brakes and pads, but everything else here is standard. And the racing clutch and flywheel, it is got all the weight reduction and increased rigidity. But other than that, that's the only modifications that you need. So it's not overly powerful, but it is super light, which is going to help you a lot more. Okay, so we're at the start of the race now, and the first thing you need to do is set on your multifunction display the fuel map to 4. This is going to give you enough fuel to do the full race. Towards the end of the race, just to give us a bit of extra pace, I will lower that, but yeah, I'll show you that later in the video. So super important, getting the slipstream. You need to be following these guys, but aim to the left here. Watch out for these 2 puddles. They will upset the car. Hit your brakes just at the bottom of that hill. You can glide past most of these. Be super careful with them being hyper aggressive on the inside, just like that Audi was. But you can again smash these 2 on the brakes quite easily at this point. Now, the aim of these opening laps is not so much to get as many overtakes in as you can. It's to have a clean lap, and you need to have as low a lap time as possible, so that it gives you extra space at the end of the race to the guys that will be behind you, because they're all going to pit, but you're not going to. So it's quite a nice little overtake there. This is where you can really beat the AI. This twisty section in the middle, they're rubbish at it, so you need to be nailing every braking point. Be super careful not to slide too much. As you can see, I'm feathering the throttle quite a lot. The more you slide, the slower you're going, so you want to avoid that as much as you possibly can. Don't hit the barriers, don't hit the other cars. If you hit the barriers too hard, you're going to get a penalty, and they slow you down anyway. You hit the other car, there is damage on in this race. It'll slow you right down, and you can't afford to lose any time in this race. I think post the 1.13 patch, I don't know, it feels like this race is even harder than it used to be. Breaking into this hairpin is super important. Certainly on the opening lap, you can make up quite a lot on the AI, because they're all bunched up, they don't know what they're doing. But the main thing now at this point is you're not really trying to overtake again, you're not trying to keep people behind you. You want to use the slipstream to pull you all the way down this back straight, because we're still on 4 on the fuel map, so we're not going to be quick down the straight. The other guys are going to be super fast. So just use the slipstream all the way down this straight, and it's going to pull you along and give you lap time. So we've set a 2:35 for this opening lap. That's that's pretty much on the money for what you need. If you're seeing like 240 there, you've probably already lost this race. So yeah, 236, 235, lower if you're better than me. I mean, I'm by no means the best person at this. And to be honest, I did this race. I usually wear contact lenses. I haven't got them in, so some of my lines are a bit iffy. But yeah, I think I'll let this run for a little bit, and then we'll cut to a little bit later in the race. Okay, so we're a little bit further into the race now, and this is quite an important moment. As you can see, I'm still racing the AMG and the Supra. Just been using them to pull me along, give me lap time for the last couple of laps. And you can just see Gallo there. He's in the NSX. He's pitting for the first time. He actually pits twice in this race. Usually he's not the guy you end up racing, but actually in this one he was the guy who was right behind me. But there's the R35 GTR and the FDRX7 RAM that are your real rivals in this race, usually. But sometimes, you know, it depends how it pans out. Every race is slightly different. They will, different ones of those will end up leading the race, and they're the ones you've got to watch out for. So again, I'm just taking my time, making sure I got my braking correct. I'm not really racing this NSX at the moment, or at least I didn't think I was. But I don't want him to put me into a spin, so just give him a bit of space and just concentrate on our own lines. As you can see, the lap times have been coming down consistently. We're into the 217s. That's where you need to be living, is about 217, certainly on fuel map 4 for now. So I'll let this run, and yeah, we'll come back again a little bit further into the race again. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of lap 7 now. As you can see, I've let the NSX get in front of me. Again, I didn't think I was racing him, but it turns out I was. But now these top guys have all started to pit, so this is where you pass the last few remaining guys. We're up in second place. So at this point in time, I'm actually looking for the gap to Sisuilo, how would you say that guy's name? That's who you're often racing. I'm pretty sure he's the guy in the R35 GTR. So I've got 11 seconds on him. So I basically now want to maintain that gap to the finish. So lap 8, we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got 5 laps to do. 6.2 laps remaining on the fuel. I've still got it in fuel map 4, but pretty soon I'm going to start switching that down to 3, coming out of sort of the hairpin, coming out of that corner we've just been through, just to give me a little bit of extra pace on the straights. Don't need it so much coming through this section, the twisty section, because you're not on the throttle as much, not accelerating as much, because you turn in, you brake in. So just make sure you're nailing these braking points. This corner here, you make up so much time on the AI, they just can't take it. So just focus on nailing this little section here. As you can see, we're putting time on the guy behind us with every corner. I mean, we put nearly a second on him in one corner there, but he will gain down the straights. They are faster than you, simple as that. Okay, so I'll cut to the sort of final couple of laps in a second. Okay, so just at the end of lap 9, and Gallo's gone into the pits. It's a strange early stop, you know, he still had fuel left, but it's just the way this AI runs it. And we're just about to overtake him, and now we're in the lead of the race for the first time. Now I want to see what sort of gap we actually end up having. So that's just going to keep going up. So 5, 6, but this guy's obviously slow coming out of the pits. And if you look at the little map at the top right, you can actually see the 2 other cars. So that's the RAM RX-7 and the R35 GTR. They're catching right up to the NSX. So What I'm kind of hoping is those three end up in their own little race and slow each other up and give me as much space as possible. So they're coming through this corner now, so from here on this is the kind of gap that I know I've got to work with. So I've got 8 seconds at the start of this. So again, it's all about maximizing my pace through here. As you can see, I've switched to field map 3 just because I need to gain as much time as possible, because these guys are still going to be quicker than you. They are going to gain on you, but it's enough of a gap to survive to the end of the race. So again, through this middle section, we are putting a bit of time on those guys. You know, it's up to 8 seconds now. Just got to keep maximizing this middle section so that you've got space on the straights for them to gain on you. Okay, I'll probably cut to the end of the race now. Okay, we are on the final lap of the race. As you can see, these guys have reeled me in quite a bit down the straight in the last 2 laps. I'm on field map 1. We've got 1 whole lap of fuel remaining, but that should be more than enough, because we're already a third of the way through this lap. You can see from my lines, I'm starting to get a little bit worried about how close these guys might end up to me, but you just got to keep your concentration, stay out of those barriers, don't slide as much as I just did. You know, hit the barrier there. I was very lucky to get away with it. You see, the last lap I did was a 2:15. That's because I'd switched to field map 2, I think, for that lap. So you can see how much lap time there is, and maybe you might be better running this race on field map 3 for the entire thing. I haven't experimented with that. Feel free to try it. But we're coming around the final corner shortly. Final real corner of the track anyway. Again, just got to make sure hit this braking point, don't go too deep. I almost do, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it's not an ideal line. I was panicking here, but I just about got it in. You can hear the guys behind me, they're getting close, but we've got just enough performance now that we can lead this over the line. So it's not the best final lap in the world, but it's going to be just enough to win this race. Going to earn ourselves quite a lot of credits, get the warning for fuel, but it's the end of the race, so there's literally no need to pit. You don't have to pit in this race. You can see the tyres have got more than enough wear on them, and we've won the race. Simple as that, really. Just got to be inch perfect for the entire thing. And there you go. How much have we won? Did we get a clean race? Yes, we've got a clean race bonus. There's a lot of money for you. So I just thought I'd do a quick little recap now that the race is over. Just going to play the replay in the background while we do that. Main points. You don't need traction control or any of that sort of stuff. It is possible to do it. I'm playing on controller, so you don't need a wheelie there. You know, I know some of you guys might want to use traction control. That's fair enough. It is wet, but you really don't need it. It's possible to get around this course without it, especially with a 4-wheel drive car. I usually use the R34 GTR. Showing you the mods that you need for that. It's really not much, because you get to 600 pp quite quickly. But the main things, try not to slide too much. If you hit the barrier, that's pretty much game over straight away. If you hit another car too hard, you get a penalty or damage the car. Again, it's pretty much over. So respect the barriers, respect the other cars, don't go too near them. Especially don't try and go around the outside of a corner, because they can be really aggressive, especially sort of from lap sort of 3 onwards. They get very aggressive in the corners, and they'll quite happily spin you out, which obviously that ruins your race. So just give them a bit of space, concentrate on your own lap times. That's really what you're looking for out of this race, is your own lap times. So if you can hit that sort of 2:35 first lap, 2:20 second lap, and 2:17s from then on, you should come out with enough lead to win this race. I hope that's helped. I guess like, subscribe if you really want to. I do a lot of other videos. Okay, see you on the next one.